Hey y'all, it's Vanessa with Farm Girl Gardens and Market, and today I'm doing a spring 2020 Dollar Tree garden haul. So many of you know that I just love the Dollar Tree, especially as I was first cutting my teeth as a community garden leader. Getting gardens in the ground can really be cost prohibitive if you are in a ministry or nonprofit setting, or if you're trying to grow food in abundance to save money. So the Dollar Tree has some wonderful gems. I picked up a couple of standbys that I love and use all of the time, and then there were even a few new to me or new to the season items that I wanted to share with y'all. So the first two being just the twist tie with cutter. This is a phenomenal deal. This would run you about $4 to $5 at Walmart for the identical product, and it actually comes with an entire extra roll of replacement wire. And I love that the cutter edge really does work, and because I'm a forgetful person, I never carry my snips out with me, so I love having this all in one. Another similar product that is relatively new, they've had it for the last 2 years, but this flexible tie. This is great for trellising your more tender planted or tender leaves plants like your tomatoes. I especially love this for tree staking. This wire coat is really UV resistant and really holds up well to the elements without putting a lot of pressure on the tree itself. And while there is a wire in here, you can see how much coating there is around it. So this is a good product. If you see it, definitely grab it. You're going to get 5 meters for $1. Another kind of standard garden thing that you've probably seen there are these plant labels. My only tip for these is that I reuse them year after year until they break or get lost. Sharpies are not UV resistant, and so I've had better luck labeling these with just a black wax pencil. Even though eventually the wax pencil will come off, that allows you to reuse the item, and it really takes some significant scrubbing to get the wax pencil off of it. So I actually don't have a problem with the labels washing off, but I did want to share that tip with you because the UV light absolutely will wear through a Sharpie. So just a quick tip for you on that one. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, garden twine. And this is an example of when a all-year item is replaced by a seasonal item of lesser value. So if you go to the garden section, you'll get 180 feet of this twine for $1, which is not a bad deal at all. I mean, this is a great deal just as it is. However, if you go to the section of the automobile section, you will get 3 rolls of this twine as well. And you know, honestly, I've not even seen. Okay, so here's the difference. These are 106 foot each, so you're getting over 300 feet for $1 versus almost 200 feet for $1. So definitely skip the twine in the garden section and go to the automotive section and get a better value. Another option that they had this year, which was new, this was actually the reason I went to the Dollar Tree, and I couldn't find the clear version that I wanted. Because I'm OCD, I only got one to show y'all, and I'm going to try and hunt down the clear version or see if I can order it, because this is wonderful for seed storage. It's a hinged lid, and it's clear. Even the colored versions are clear. I just really loved the actual clear version. So if you see that, grab it because they will not last. But this is an excellent value. It's an excellent size, stackable, durable. And you could even use that same wax pencil if you wanted to write your labels on top of this. So this was the inspiration for my Dollar Tree haul, and I'm glad that I found one to show y'all. Another option for seeds and kind of maybe a garden tool that you wouldn't think of is if you are in Texas, we do a lot of hand pollinating of our squash because this area is just rife with squash vine borer. And so if you're not covering your squash plants, oftentimes you lose your crop due to that insect. When you cover your squash plants, you've also limited the access to pollinators. And so what we end up having to do a lot, and I know this is not just exclusive to Texas, but is hand pollinating with a brush. Now if you have just a regular old paintbrush, that does work, but I find that using a makeup brush like this, where the product was created to pick up a lot of small, fine pigment particles. That ends up being a better transfer of pollen than using a regular stiff paintbrush. And so the way that you would do that is you would just put this into the stamen of the male flower, pick up that pollen, and then take it over to the female flower and pollinate the female. And this makeup brushes are just much better at kind of grabbing onto that pollen in my experience. Another kind of odd use or alternative use for a product in the garden world is anytime that you are growing fruit, whether that's on a tomato plant or fruit tree, one of the most just heartbreaking things to happen is when you're waiting with expectation for this fruit to mature, and then you turn it over and it's been pecked by a bird, or a squirrel has eaten half of it if they've left you any of it. Now, you can tell the difference in what pest is frequenting your garden based off the damage they leave. If it is like a V-shaped mark, that's a peck. And I promise you, those birds are looking for water. They don't necessarily care about your tomatoes, so if you put out some water, you'll have a good chance of them leaving your tomatoes alone. Another thing that you can do is put decoys out earlier in the season. So I love this time of year. After Christmas, everything is clearanced, and if you can find some plastic red or orange ball ornaments, those are great to hang on your plants before they come into maturity. The rodents and the critters will peck and peck and peck at those red balls, understand that it's not edible, and then when you finally have a plant that has fruit that comes into maturity, that the predators and pests in your area will be acclimated to knowing that that's not food. You'll have a good shot at getting them to kind of leave you alone. Now, all it takes is for one curious or new to the neighborhood squirrel to figure it out, and then the rest catch on. So my actual favorite tip for an alternative use is in the laundry department. Let me grab that. So the Dollar Tree makes two different products year-round. The Mesh Essentials laundry bag. This is, 36 inches by 24 inches. So pretty good size for your small trees or your tomato plants. And what I like to do is just open this baby up and stick the entire bag over top of the plant. This still allows pollinators access, well, smaller ones, but some pollinators will still have access. It does not allow critters to come in and stick their hands over your fruit and grab things out from under you. So what I like to do is just open this mesh bag up, put it over the plant, and then use the drawstring to secure it at the bottom. Similar vein to that are these Delicates wash bags. This is more expensive to do using this product this way, but if you have a large tree, it's the better size because the bags are really only for like a medium-sized plant. But this is a mesh laundry bag, and what's so great about it is it has this little zipper with an elastic. So you can stick the elastic over the branch holding the fruit that you're trying to protect, and then just unzip this, put it over top of your fruit, zip it back up, and the fruit can vine ripen on the tree. You can get those wonderful taste and the benefits of all that phytonutrients from the sunlight without the risk of something coming and grabbing it from you right as you were ready to get it. Another thing that I just love to pick up every season are just these utility knives, because at Home Depot or Walmart, this is a $5 purchase. It does come with an extra set of blades and a little safe keeper for them, so I just think this is a phenomenal value. One of the things that was new to my Dollar Tree, and I'm not sure if it's new to you, personally, I actually think if you're a mom, you've got a plethora of paint somewhere, just go find yourself a rock. But if you don't, or if you're a teacher, or if you are doing a Sunday school lesson and you need something quick and simple and a great price point, for $1, you get this garden marker rock kit. Now, these are not real rocks, but they are weatherproof, and they do give you painting inspirations on the back. What I like about it is it includes the paint and the brush. It's all kind of like one kit and assembled. This would make excellent party favors because, again, it's just $1, and here's a craft to do, something fun to remember you buy. If you were into like a garden-themed birthday party or on-the-farm party, that would be incredible. One more thing that I have is just regular twine. This is the best time of the season to get it from the Dollar Tree. They do carry twine all year round, but in smaller amounts. This, again, is in the laundry section. I don't know why they carry it in spring. I guess maybe it's just my store, but you'll get a really nice quality material for tree staking. So lots of trees this season that we have to protect, so I bought quite a few of these. Similar, sorry I keep dipping on you, similar concept are just these tarps. Man, aside from all of the children that I haul in my minivan, I am going to the feed store. I mean, I've had goats, chickens, you name it in the back of my minivan, and so I really like having these tarps available to throw down and try and feign cleanliness. And then I have, one of the finds that I have that I just love was this brush. This was in the just houseware section. But this is the time of year where many of us are starting our own seeds. We are doing sanitation processes to the trays that we've stored, or if you are, trying to reduce your carbon footprint, you can ask for the trays at the garden center and sow your seeds in those. However, you want to sterilize them first, because whatever, pathogens those trays were exposed to, or just as they're sitting out in the garden over time, you want to keep your seed sowing environment sterile. And so I always like to clean mine off really well, and a good scrub brush comes in handy for that. Oh, the new thing that I found this season is a couple of things. They have the most phenomenal little garden gnome section. They've been adding to it every year. Goes really well with those garden veggie rocks that I showed you earlier. Just a cute way to make kids' grow space entertaining and engaging. But look at this. This one's new. This is a little carrot. And then they have always had the gnomes, but they made them bigger this year. And so I think that's nice, because the other ones, while adorable and still a great price point when you compare it to like Hobby Lobby, where something like this is going to be $10, and that's with a coupon. This is a great deal. I love always making an area of intention for children, whether that's designing a garden space for a client or an organization, just making sure that there's something bright and colorful and interactive and engaging for those kids, because the research on this is clear. Your children will eat what they grow, and they'll only grow it if they're entertained enough to be in that space to begin with. So make it fun, make it engaging. Now on to some heavy hitters. This guy is one for $1, but it's a container of 3, which honestly just by itself is a great deal. But these were designed very similar to the grow towers that you'll see like tomatoes or strawberries in. You just stack them one on top of another. I picked up 5. Honestly, the sky's the limit with these. As long as you can keep them level, you can keep building onto them. But 5 was a good size for me, and they just kind of keep stacking together like that. I'm going to be growing different types of lettuces and short roots in here to see if this would be a good item for some of my apartment clients to recommend. So I'm going to be testing that out, and we'll keep checking in with you on that progress. Oh, another tool that gets overlooked, it's not there every season, it really tends to only be in spring, is the mallet. Oh my goodness, y'all, these are like 15 bucks at Home Depot or Lowe's, and this is a pretty good size mallet. So I just wanted to share that one, because I have heard the rumor that they exist at the Dollar Tree, but I've never actually found one, so this was a score for me. And then another thing that I love checking is the school supplies area, because if you save seeds from your own garden, or if you have seeds left over, keeping them in the envelope can sometimes not be as neat or tidy. What I like to do is decant them into a larger container, save the seed information either by sticking it on the back or including it inside of the container. And what I found that I just thought would be perfect for that are these magnetic tins. And so whether you're saving your own seeds from your own grow space, or you're just saving the leftover unused seeds, this is a great airtight way to keep them close and accessible. Now, because it is clear and it is metal, you wouldn't want to put this in a sunny window, right? Because it would just heat up, and it could potentially hinder your propagation results, or your germination results. But if this is inside, this is a great way to store seeds, and I just think it's kind of cute. It's pretty. What else do we have? Speaking of seeds, the Dollar Tree does have seeds. I've had really good germination success with them. Some of them are GMO seeds, and some of them are not GMO but hybrid. The information is always going to be on the seed packet itself. It'll tell you. And if it's organic, it's going to tell you it's organic, because we all love that. But I wanted to share some flowers in particular that the Dollar Tree does carry that are really useful for bees as a pollination source. The first one is just the cottage mix of wildflowers. There's some purple cone flowers, some euthanasia, some snapdragons and daisies. I even see some cosmos and poppies in there. This is a great all-in-one mix. If you can find the individual seed packets, I also really like the alyssum. This is sometimes called carpet of snow. If you're ever at the garden center, take a look at where the bees are. I guarantee you, you will always see them on the alyssum, so that is why I always pick it up when I find individual packets. They also have California poppy, or the golden poppies. I've never grown these here, to be honest, so I'm going to take a chance with these. And then the cosmos, which we all know and love. Beautiful, beautiful flower, produces abundant blooms all season long. Now, I do recommend the individual seed packets over like the butterfly or pollinator mix. However, you know, $1 versus 25 cents, the value I'm going to tell you is actually in these packets, because a good amount of this is filler. Not harmful, but not seed product. So at least here, you know, you're paying for the seeds. Here you're paying for the filler in the packaging. So don't get fooled by that. One other thing that I wanted to share is in the children's section. They have just the most incredible books. I'm not quite sure what the story is with some of these authors, why their books end up in the Dollar Tree, but I'm so thankful that they do, because one of the things that I really love doing is being able to read garden-themed stories to children when they visit a grow space. Especially if you're a community garden or a church-based garden, you should definitely have a garden literature library available to your kiddos. But Pig's Egg is just the most adorable little story about a barnyard pig, written by Catherine Soley, illustrated by Sam Shaffey. And Pig is just this little adorable pig who lives on a farm, and he is so jealous of all of the birds and chickens that lay eggs, and he does not lay an egg, and he feels left out. So he finds a little turnip, and he sits on that turnip, and this is just a delightful story. So anytime that I see Pig's Egg in particular, I buy multiple copies because I love giving them away. A couple of last minute things that I did find and wanted to share with you real quick is hydration is so important in any southern garden setting. You need to be drinking half your weight in body ounces of water a day. And so I actually love water, but what I really love is fancy water. So cucumber slices, lemons, fresh mint from the garden, you name it. If you were going to find a herb infuser drink like this, well, just even the container alone can be $15 at Target. So even though this is maybe a smaller size than some of those other tumblers, this is still a solid 8 ounces. It's not marked, but it's at least 8 ounces. And so it just has this little infusion basket, and I have placed some lemon and some fresh basil from the greenhouse in here, and it's just a great way to naturally flavor your water. You can even put berries and stuff in there, so this is a good one. Kind of on a similar note for hydration, especially in Texas when you're out there working, or if you're a beekeeper like me and you're suited up, you're in the sun and you're hot and you're sweating bullets. And so it's important that you keep your electrolytes balanced. And one way that you can actually do that, in addition to just drinking water, is eating pickles, right? Because pickles have a brine, so they have a pretty good ratio of sugar and salt and bicarbonate. And so I was really excited to see that the Dollar Tree is carrying these fancy non-GMO cucumbered pickles. They only had the dilly bites, which is fantastic, but if you are lucky enough to find a Dollar Tree that has the spicy bites, those are amazing. I like them both. There's no brine in this package. It's really just the pickle. So it's really easy to throw this out in your pack with you when you go out to your grow space, and you've got your water and your hydration support via this pickle electrolyte solution, if you will. I do have two more things to show you. One is an alternative use in the pet section. This is a kitty litter bin. They have changed it this year, or this is the first time that I'm noticing it, but it is huge, y'all. And the reason I picked this up is this is an excellent substitute for 10-20 trays. 10-20 trays are those commercial grow plastic trays. They're 10 inches by 20 inches. You can just sow a mess of seeds in them. You reuse them year after year, but they're expensive. A 5-pack currently on Amazon is going to run you about $32 for 5, versus one of these for $1. It is a little bit bigger than a 10 by 20, but it's a great depth, and so I like that. That's probably about 3 inches, which is taller than a 10 by 20, but it works in your favor because it just gives you a little bit longer time to have that plant in there. So I will probably be picking up more of these because it's just a fantastic deal. And then this actually isn't garden related, although they did have some garden themed ones. I'm just a mom and I wanted to share this. These were new this season. They are in the kids story section, and they've got this plastic, those wiki sticks. I don't know if you're an 80s kid like me, but these are fun. And I just figured for $1, if you are out in the community garden and your kid is bored, this is a great little thing to throw in your pack and have with you, or I will definitely be bribing my kids with these at church or at restaurants. So, actually, no, I lied. There's more. Haha. These clips, they are in the laundry section. I talk a lot about creating DIY hoop houses with electrical PVC pipe. That's the real bendy kind. Bending it and throwing over some 5mm plastic in the winter to act as a hothouse. In the early spring, you can use frost cloth to get yourself a jump on the season. And nothing holds those on better than these laundry clips, jumbo plastic clothespins. I like that they're plastic. They can hang out in the elements a little bit more, and then you can sanitize them every year, unlike the wooden ones that aren't big enough and then also just tend to kind of break and harbor bacteria. The very last thing I want to show you, this was a new to me item. I'm not sure if your store has had it in the past, but this is a 2-piece for $1 metal garden hook. So these are great for any number of things, whether that's hanging up extra tools or a random pair of gloves, or actually they do sell garden baskets, flower baskets, so you can pick up one of those as well. But I just find that you can never have enough garden hooks. There's just an infinite amount of things to do with them. You know what? There is one more thing, my goodness. So right now, a lot of us are kind of staying savvy to the fact that in Australia, there's just been catastrophic wildfires. In fact, we're calling this an extinction event for many of the species that are native and unique to Australia. Something that as a beekeeper is dear to my heart is saving and supporting native bee populations. There are only 2 places in the world that produce in abundance to be able to tell in an end product Manuka honey. Manuka is a tree. It is very heavy in methyl aromatic compounds, and the bees that exclusively visit this tree produce honey that is called Manuka honey. It is a medicinal honey. They actually will use this in burn units as part of their holistic burn intervention. A lot of us that are holistically or health-minded know how powerful it is, and the CDC actually has a good amount of reports, peer-reviewed literature that show that in a clinical setting, Manuka honey has been proven to retard the advancement of several different bacterial and viral strains. So unfortunately, the result of these forest fires is also taking with it hundreds of thousands of bees and hundreds of thousands of Manuka trees. And these trees are massive. It's going to take a good 20 years before we can get Australia back to where it was prior to these fires. It really is devastating. And so while in the continental US, we won't be able to propagate Manuka trees, what we can do is support our own bees. And so whether that is adding in some additional pollinator sources of food in your garden, whether those are any of the flowers that I showed you earlier in this video, or making a real quick and simple DIY bee waterer, all that you need to do is pick up some of these marbles and a little gosh, I don't know what you call this. The little tray for the terracotta pots, the little saucer. And so what you'll want to do is you'll just fill the saucer with your glass beads, or you can even use stones. You don't have to do beads. I like doing these because then I'm always making fairy gardens or gnome gardens, and so if you bury this, it kind of looks like a little pool or a pond. So I think that's super cute. But the concept is simple. Bees are always needing water, especially in the summer, just like us. They want to stay hydrated. They're also using the water to put onto their body and then quickly flap their wings, and then that's how they regulate the internal temperature of their hive for the purpose of keeping their honey viscous. Otherwise it would melt and be everywhere. So all you'll want to do is fill your little saucer with some beads and then water. That allows the bee a safe place to land without getting trapped in the water or being enticed over to a pool where we all know what happens to them there. And if you do see a bee in the pool, rescue it, right? Because we need those bees now more than ever. So I hope that this has been a good haul. One more thing. Too much stuff. This is in the kitchen section. I hadn't seen this size. This is a great size for smaller seeds, like your beets, your lettuces. If you want to do a broadcast, you just put all your seeds in here. Or if you're doing a cover crop, this is a really, really good use for that because you can just scoop it in the giant 50-pound bag of cover crop and shake it out. So that is all that I have for y'all today. I hope that you are well. I do have one last thing that I want to share. I'm a shorty, so I'm going to try and step up. But I am growing something big, y'all. I am having another little boy. And so we are just super excited about that at the farm. It's always good to grow your own, especially when your own are farm hands, which you can make do your menial labor for free. I mean, we feed them, so that counts. Anyway, I'll see you later. Bye, y'all.